All right, y'all. We back with another one, man. Y'all already know what is going on, right? So there's always stuff to talk about. Like, you do what I do on YouTube. We always have something to talk about, just about every single day. Now, you can tell by the title, thumbnail. We're here to talk about Kyle Busch. We're also going to talk about the admiral that was on Fox News and the alleged mask that he was wearing. I mean, thousands and thousands of people saw it. It is going viral right now as, I do this video. I want to start first with this clip from Larry Johnson. He kind of talks about both of them. He talks about the admiral on Fox News being a distraction. In his mind, he said it's clearly AI and it's not a mask because he had facial hair in one of the shots, and then in another shot, he didn't. Now, I also want to show y'all this picture on Twitter where somebody compared the admiral a couple of days before in an interview and then the one that he did on Fox News. So it may not be AI at all, or it might be AI, but I thought this clip of Larry Johnson talking about it was pretty interesting. He also talks about Kyle Busch as well being a fake sacrifice. Now, one thing I will say about the Kyle Busch thing, the story, it's a little weird. I think I have the video where he called, well, it wasn't really like a call. He was basically in his car and he radioed to his team that and I think this was 10 days before he died. He radioed to his team that he was going to need a doctor at the end of the race to give him a shot because he was already experiencing this sickness. And they're saying that he had sinus infection, a very bad sinus infection. I don't think there's an actual, cause of death right now, but it's being rumored as a sinus infection that possibly got to his brain, and that is why he died as fast as he did. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I heard something about him being hospitalized before Thursday, and then he ended up dying on Thursday. But then I also saw a lot of other stories saying he was hospitalized the same day that he died, and then just a couple of hours later, boom, the story hits ESPN, and he died very fast. Like his life came to an end very fast. Once he got hospitalized, it was over. Let's check out this clip real quick.
Let's see if we can make sense of this Kyle Busch scripted ritual, this fake sacrifice, and how it's connected to Wayne Gretzky and Kobe Bryant. Recently, Wayne Gretzky was at a hockey game doing an intermission report, and the score of this hockey game was 4-1, the age that Kyle Busch died. He was in the booth 113. Kobe Bryant was drafted the first round, 13th pick overall. Wayne Gretzky's birthday is the same exact date as Kobe Bryant's death, January 26th. From that death to Kyle Busch's death, or fake death, is 3 months and 3 weeks, 33. The same as the initials as Kobe Bryant, KB Kyle Busch. What sticks out is the fact that Kyle Busch won $8.5 million in a out-of-court settlement when he sued a life insurance company. This is this year. Before his death, he was in a race talking about how he was sick or ill. Then he has a severe illness and then dies. And then he goes out saying, not once, but multiple times, you never know when it's your last one. When it's like this, when it's too good to be true, then it is. Yeah. So pretty much they helped his race career, just like they helped Kobe Bryant's career, and to get to where it is so they can remove him out of the way. They did the same thing to Kyle Busch to remove him out of the way, just so they can spoon feed more medical lockdowns. And for you to get your vaccine records stuck in your head and stuck in your arm. Just like the serpent in the days of the garden. He didn't force Eve to eat of the forbidden fruit or the tree of knowledge. He didn't take it and stuff it in her face or stuff it down her throat. He was very subtle in his approach. That's all they're doing, is being very subtle with you that this is what's coming. And they're doing it with these fake deaths.
Interesting. Now, a lot of people on his Instagram page, they're very much into the numbers, which is nothing wrong with that. There's a reason why there's a such thing that exists that's called murder by numbers. We remember the the movie that was titled Murder by Numbers. Um, he has a point. He has a point. Everything has a relation to a prior sacrifice. Everything is pretty much done by numbers when it comes down to the people who are running the show. Someone said Kyle raced the 18 for a while. Snake and Satan's infinite loop equals 18. Same as in the Kobe and Chad Bozeman picks. Kobe holding the golden Oscar and Chad throwing up the one. Chad, the standalone Serpent 1, and Kobe 8 or 2 times 4. Kyle also used 5, 8, and 84. Kobe 81 points, just 18, if you flip it around. Um, he also another comment said 33 years since Canada won the Stanley Cup. They traded 33 Patrick Roy to the Avs. Kyle was from Vegas and they beat the Avs. No cake. Marker the 8/infinity loop. Oddly enough, these guys fly into DIA, which is still being renovated, and it's called the Grand Hall renovation. Then, if you add in one of the biggest races being Sunday in the Indy 500, so they bumped off Bifel in a helicopter before Daytona and now Cal before Indy. Definitely a sacrifice. And the quote from Kyle Busch himself that he said on May 18th, 2026, "You never know when the last one will be, so cherish them all." That is insane. It's insane. You're like, I mean, a lot of the times you can say people start to feel, when their time is coming, so on and so on. But, just like he said, when it's too good to be true, that's exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like some of this stuff it it just don't make no sense, especially when we know what we know. It's not him predicting his own death. Remember they're required to show the symbolism, tell us what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And Kyle made over $250 million in his career. I think he was still worth $100 million. Somebody said, yes, nobody is speaking about the 8.5 million Pacific Life had to pay out a couple months ago. And we don't actually know if it was 8.5 because it says Kyle and Samantha Busch, his wife, they settled their $8.5 million lawsuit against Pacific Life Insurance over alleged losses from an indexed universal life insurance policy. Basically, they were sold, some bullshit. It says the Bush claimed they were misled by misleading sale illustrations and false guarantees, investing over 10 million in premiums for a policy marketed as safe, tax-free, self-funding retirement plan. They asserted that the policy was actually a financial trap with high hidden fees, ultimately resulting in losses exceeding 8.5 million. Pacific Life argued that the Bush failed to fully fund the policy and they had delayed a 1035 exchange and filed a claim well after deadlines. So they ended up settling outside of court for a undisclosed amount. Now, also something that I thought was interesting, right? And this goes into the death of Kyle Busch, Rowdy Busch, right? So where was it? I don't know if it was this article. So it said Kyle Busch died on Thursday, May 21st at the age of 41. The NASCAR legend was hospitalized earlier in the week with what the Motorsport Series and his family had called a severe illness. He did not recover. So this is what I keep seeing. That's kind of like a mix-up. I saw that he was hospitalized on Thursday, yesterday, and then he died later the day. And then I also keep seeing that he was hospitalized earlier in the week and he never came out of the hospital. And then he died yesterday. So I'm not completely sure. Um, what I thought was interesting though is Kyle, his cause of death is not immediately known. The racing star was hospitalized this week with a severe illness. He was preparing to race in the Coca-Cola 600, which is on Sunday, May 24th. Now, that was interesting to me, right? He was preparing to race in a Coca-Cola 600. Catch that number. This race is on this Sunday, May 24th. We know what Sundays are when it comes to these sacrifices. The 24th, that's another 6. He was going to race in the Coca-Cola 600. Now, let me play this clip really quick because I think there was something I wanted to say, but I might need to hear this clip before I get back to my thought. Hold on, let me play this, y'all.
Where that Kyle Busch, which do keep in mind is a 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, just died at 41 years old? Before we get to Kyle's achievements, because I do believe that they deserve to be pointed out of respect, because he was an amazing driver. I don't even watch NASCAR like that, but watching Kyle was honestly exciting. I want to mention that the announcement followed an initial post made on Thursday from the Busch family themselves saying that Kyle was apparently hospitalized. They stated that he was hospitalized with a severe illness which has not yet been named. This was just 3 days before he was to compete at the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. But see, Busch was one of the most prolific drivers in NASCAR history. Not only did he have 63 Cup Series wins, but he also won the 2015 and 2019 Series title. He has won more races across the sport's 3 national series than any other driver in history. Shit, he's the winningest driver in NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series history and the Craftsman Truck Series history with 102 and 69 wins. So this is obviously very devastating and sad news for NASCAR fans worldwide, and my condolences go out to Kyle.
Now, that was also another number. So he died 3 days before he was to race in the Coca-Cola 600. Just wanted to play y'all that clip so y'all could kind of, not everybody knows about NASCAR and Kyle Busch. You could get kind of the history of, his career and why he is such a legend in the sport, right? 3 days before the Coca-Cola 6, basically, before the Coca-Cola 600, and that was on May 24th. I mean, the numbers are there, and supposedly he was battling sinus cold. The 911 call for Kyle Busch. The day before Kyle Busch died, a male caller phoned emergency responders in response to Busch, who the caller said was awake on a bathroom floor, coughing up blood at a General Motors facility in Concord, North Carolina. The man described Busch's state as shortness of breath, very hot, and thinks he's going to pass out, and he's producing very little blood. The caller told the dispatcher their location was the General Motors Technical Center in Concord. He described it as being next to Hendrick Motorsports. EMTs arrived, and Busch was transported to a hospital in Charlotte, where he died May 21st. He was 41 years old. He never recovered from what he was actually sick from. Very interesting with the Kyle Busch stuff, y'all. I am definitely not going to, be the one to say that this was just all natural. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's obvious with those kind of G-forces that they take on in those cars, being sick, having sinus infections. We know the real, things that could happen behind a sinus infection. We know it can get into your brain. We know a tooth infection could get into your brain. It's not, it's not a high percentage that it will, but we know those type of things can happen. But it is still very, very questionable. And I always think, anytime like stories are kind of confused on the day they were hospitalized, this and that, it just seems a little weird to me.
And the president knows he's in the position to demand those. So I think in that sense, he controls the narrative and when he would strike. I'd also say that patience and the request from Saudi, Qatar, UAE, and the president knows he's in.
All right. So this is clearly a mask, right? Somebody said it's a necklace. Somebody said no blinking either. This is creepy. But okay. This here is clearly a mask. When he's talking, let's mute it, and you could clearly see the mask flex. You can see it. The throat is under here. Literally, you can see his throat moving under the mask. I mean, even right here on the collar, you can tell this is a mask as well. So, I mean, maybe it is AI. Maybe it is a complete distraction. Let me show you this picture here. Now, I tried to find to see if this interview was real, but this post got over 7 million views. So I'm pretty sure this is accurate. I don't have an X Twitter, so I can't sign in and see the comments. Actually, I think I have a page. It's like 0 followers. But I wasn't even trying to do all that. But someone said that this was him on May 18th. And today, completely different. These aren't even the same people. So it's like, yeah, this is definitely a mask. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you want to say, I don't know. This looks prosthetic. Nothing about this looks real. The lips are tiny as hell. Nothing looks real. I mean, it's clearly a mask, but we'd have to be asking ourselves why, why? And I think the good reason, which is why I showed the clip of, um, Larry Johnson in the beginning is distraction, because at the same time, these happen the same day, basically, right? So at the same time, you get the death or possible sacrifice of Kyle Busch, still worth over $100 million. You get this right here, and they know people are gonna eat this up. I mean, we can never. This is it is what it is. I don't even know if this is AI. This might just be a straight up mask. I mean, look at the neck. Like, look how fake it is. Look, you can see the lines of it. Y'all see what I'm talking about? Look, I'm gonna zoom in. Look, you see this right here? Look, you see how it's like 2 lines? You see that? None of this is natural. This is clearly a mask. There's like no flex in it. You see, like from the chin, like to right here. You know how like usually there's a indent, like it goes under your chin, and your hair and stuff. Like, this is insane. I've never seen a mask this bad. I mean, it looks good. If we couldn't see this neck and it peeling right here, which I think they did this on purpose. This is obviously on purpose. They have perfected these masks. Just think about the Tom Cruise movies, Mission Impossible. This is perfected. You wouldn't even know. These people could be walking right past you. You would not know they have on a mask. So obviously this was done on purpose. He left it unbuttoned for a reason, for people to see it. People are going to eat this up. And maybe it is a distraction. Maybe it is a distraction, so you don't really think about what is actually going on. Remember the world that we live in. It's literally some people's job to create these kind of distractions and just keep you focused on, things of this world. And that's it. That's all I could say. Because when you ask yourself why, there's really no other reason except it being a distraction. But this is crazy though. This is for sure a mask. I don't think it's AI. Personally, I think it's actually a mask. They just decided to show us. That's it. Look at it. It's not even flexing. It's not moving. Like, you could tell. You could see his throat underneath the mask actually flexing as he talked. And this is just terrible. It's all extra shiny up here. It is terrible. As far as like the fact that we could actually see what is going on. I don't know, y'all. I think I'll go ahead and wrap it up right here, though. Not gonna keep yapping, bringing up some of the same stuff. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this one. Anything further about the Kyle Busch stuff that may come out, y'all already know we'll be on it. That being said, y'all, Black Balloon, and I'm gonna see y'all soon. All right, I'm out.